kuan. So you just click create a free account here. The same way, just write the kuan. Kung sa gusto niyo mga username, and then the email address, and then you create a password. And then, okay, you write the full name, pasulat kuan man siya. Assume students and teachers ang mag-login there sa insight media. And then, kaning mga captcha and so on. You click lang, and then create account. And then what will happen later is katong imong gi-enter nga email, i-activate nimo to. So you have to click the link given to you na mag-email sila, and that's it. You'll have an account. Okay. So let's continue. So let's assume na kuan nakahimo na tag-account. You just click login. So in my case, na ano yung account, okay, I just have to click login. So it will ask for your user account. So you put in either your username or your email address, and then your password. And then you click login. Okay, so what you see here, especially in this is my account. So ana ko'y nahimo nga model. Pero let's make a new one. So tanan nga mahimo ang model ninyo will be seen here. And then later on ay ipang-click ninyo mga explore insights, new insights, because this one is already shared with the other members nga naa na dire. So when you explore insights, makita nimo later kung hinay man ang internet, dili lang sana ko ikuan, but then you'll see other users of this software and then their work. So mura siya sharing kuan gyapon, mura social media gyapon, mura nyo lang share your insights ang term nila sa mga model nga imong gimo. Okay, so if you want to create a model, so they click lang ning create insight. Ngay mo gawas ng demo kani. So i-click lang nimo so that you'll have a blank page. So you clear that one. So you have a blank page. So these are the different commands nga naa dire. First, add primitive, and then kaning mga links and so on, settings, and then you can also save. You save the insight. Okay. So we have blank one. We have a blank nga insight or model page para sa atong model. So pinaka-common, pinaka-common para mali na ito masabtan unsa ang model, systems model, for example, is what we call as the bathtub model. You know what a bathtub is, diba? It's something that holds water, and then there's a faucet that where water goes in, and there's a drainage or drain when water gets out. So let's create a stack. Mo na yung una mo gawas dire. Sorry. Pwede mo i-move na, pwede na to i-move. Kung makita nimo ning kuan. Just tell me kung dili klaro ha. I hope makita ninyo unsay naong niya. Atong padak-an na lang para kuan mas maklaro ninyo. Kasi mostly rectangle lang, pormaan na lang atong kuan. So pwede nimo i-double click ning na may pangalan niya nga default, this is new stack. You can double click that para so that we can change the name into bathtub, because that's our bathtub model, right? Ano kay stack? Stack is anything that accumulates something. So a bathtub is an example sa itong concept sa systems models. A stack or a reservoir holds something and accumulates something. So the bathtub here accumulates water that comes from its input and then output. Ang input na to is a faucet. So we can create a flow for this. So if you want to create a flow, you just imuha lang. Iba na to I-drag lang nimo from the center paingon sa gawas. Okay? So that's our flow now. Pero ang flow na to dire nga nahimo pagawas man. So what we want is something pasulod, di ba? So mo sa natong unang buhaton, and then we click kaning dire para ma-reverse siya. Nakita ninyo, two arrows na opposite to each other. Okay? I-click na to na. So you see what happens, pasulod na. So meaning this is our flow, our inlet or our faucet. So i-label lang nato as a kuan. I-label nato, i-double click nato as faucet. Okay, faucet, pasulod. And then, okay, naana tayo paingon dire, pero wala pa man pud tayo kuan, di ba? So you put in, kanina po, i-click nimo, and then, i-click na to pagawas. So this is an open system. Kaya pupunta kabalog asa gikan ng tubig po sa faucet, pwede na to imuan rin, gikan sa sapa or something, pero that's not our concern right now. Our concern is this tap, kaning bathtub, and ang duha ka flow niya, inflow ug outflow. So, drainage, let's say drain, atong ikuan. So, niya ikuan. But anyway, pwede nimo diri man, pag mo-click na nimo, pwede nimo diri pud sa kuan, diri ka mag-type the drainage. The drain. Okay. Sayon ra, di ba? Mura ra kag nagsumpay-sumpay og kuan. Let's just try to analyze this model first. Kulang pa pud ni because we don't have values for each. We don't know unsa kapaspas ang faucet mo agas. We don't know unsa kapaspas mo drain. And we don't know pila pud ang sulod nga tubig daan dito sulod sa bathtub. Di ba? So what you'll do to put in mao po na isa ka importante to quantify the model o para mas serve siyang purpose, dapat na quantification of each of this. So that's part of the modeling process. So you start with the concept. So conceptual pa ni siya pero di pa nato ma-realize ang actual model because we don't have values for each of these variables. So kung actual nga model building, maybe we could do research on that. Pila pang, let's say, ang ato ang bathtub is later on, we'll talk about that. Daghan may pwede bathtub na concept sa environment. Pero kinahanglan na nimo dayon i-research kung unsay mga actual value. So let's say sa bathtub, i-double click lang na nimong bathtub. Ayan. Ito rin. Na ay makitaan, you can actually see the kuan here. You can see the values here kung naa ba o wala. For in this case, ang initial value is 0. So pwede na nimo, pwede po diri sa settings na. Okay, you can either click the bathtub and then click settings. Ang time, ang setting sa time diri is kani. So what you'll do, grabe taas man kayo ng years because in terms of filling up the bathtub, more minutes raman ang kinahanglan. So i-click na to ang minutes. So ang time units later on sa itong simulation is what? Minutes based on our settings. So it's either i-click nimo ni na mo there are actually forms here that you can fill up depending on what type of data you would put in. But then you can also, kung imong ipatong gani ang mouse diri sa bathtub, na equal sign. I don't know if you can see it. Na equal sign diri sa left. I-click na nimong equal. It will also give you this dialog box para ma-change nimo ang value dire. So let's say 10, wala pa tayo units ha. Let's say 10 liters pero 10 lang atong ibutang, wa man gipangayo pud ko ang kuan. So you click apply. So meaning kaning bathtub, i-assume na nato na nabutangan na nato value. You see kaning dire sa initial value, pwede po dire ka mag-change. Pwede po dito sa katong equals. This means now that initially daw, ang bathtub na to, na 10 units or 10 liters nga sulod nga tubig. And then, kung saan na po yung kinahanglan mo tangan itong value, ang faucet, we want to find out kung sa kapaspas ang faucet mo paagas o tubig. So, click na, fly over na to ang mouse diri na po equal sign. Okay, so let's say butangan na to 1, meaning 1 liter per minute, although wala pa man gipangayoon sa unit. So let's say 1 siya and apply, meaning natay bathtub nga na 10 liters laan, and then ang faucet po niya nag-agas nga every minute 1 liter ang sulod. Now, disregard sa natong drain. So let's say inana sa atong kuan, nakasirado pa ang atong drainage. Unya ang atong bathtub, in reality atong imagine that the bathtub has 10 liters, and then paagason na itong faucet for 1 liter per minute. So pwede na tayo makasimulate. So that's the concept there of simulation. We created a model, then we can simulate without actually witnessing that in nature, but through computer simulations, pwede na to masundog ang reality into a simple model such as this. So if you click simulate, okay, unsay pasabot ana. Naana siya 10 liters daan at 0. Nakita ninyo ang graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nagsugod daw at 0 nga time, 10 liters daan. And then, after 1 minute, until pagka 20 minutes, kaya ato ang mag-assume dito sa atong settings nga 20 minutes sa atong simulation time. After 20 minutes na anay 30 liters. Which is true, di ba? Kaya 10 daan, yung 1 minute, 1 liter, after 20 minutes na yung 30 liters. So that's our simulation. Given nga, open, sirado pa nga tong drainage. So that's our model. That's our simulation of the model. Very basic. And hope, sayon na kayo siya, pero this would create as a start for us to be able to understand how systems are being modeled and how models can be simulated. So inani. So i-close na lang nato. Now, what if abrihan nato ang drain or ang drainage niya? So you can actually kaning equals na pod, and then let's say 1 gihapon. I-open na to siya nga ang speed niya para ma-drain ang tubig is 1 liter per minute. Okay. Kisay makatagna, bago na to i-simulate, kisay makatagna, unsa kay mahitabo sa ato ang kuan? After 20 minutes, unsa kay mahitabo sa atong bathtub? Bathtub with 10 liters of water, and then we open the faucet at 1 liter per minute, and then we also open the drain of 1 liter per minute. After 20 minutes, what do you think would be pila ka na lang ang sulod sa bathtub ng water? Okay, so after 20 minutes, 10 liters lang gyapon. So correct atong assumption, because if parehas man ang musulod nga tubig, parehas pud mo gawas. So kung unsay nag-remain as initial, mo ra gyapon. So in systems nga terminology, that's what we call a systems equilibrium, right? There's an equilibrium in our system. Okay? Kung pila ang nisulod, mo ra pud ni gawas, that's an equilibrium. Just like, for example, heat sa atmosphere, gikan sa sun, kung pilay mo sulod nga heat, maura po dapat mo gawa. So, na-equilibrium kung ma-maintain ang temperature sa planet, because there's an equilibrium sa system. Kung unsay mo sulod nga heat, maura po mo gawas nga heat back into space. Although, wala na nahitabo ron because of climate change, diba? Because there are Unsay nahitabo karon based on climate change na concept ninyo nga nasabtan. Di ba? The amount of heat that comes in is not the same amount of heat that goes out of the system because it's trapped by greenhouse gases. So wala na equilibrium. So what happens? Nag-remain ang heat diri, nagka-global warming. Now, relate that to the bathtub. Unsay mahitabo nga the same sa climate change sa bathtub. In what way nga mawala ang equilibrium?
Mas taas ang input rate sa heat, sir.
Okay, nga gamay ra ang output, diba? Gamay ra mo gawas nga heat. So in the bathtub, paspas ang faucet, hinay ang drainage. Sakto ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's try to simulate that. So pwede man nato i-change, di ba? So the same lang gyapon sa bathtub. And then ang let's say ang faucet atong papaspasan, himuon natong 2 liters per minute siya. Pero the same lang gyapon nga 1 liter ang drainage. Okay, mo na ang flow rate. 1 lang. So, ang nahitabo is okay, napuno ang tubig after 20 minutes. So, the same, mura ra gyapon katong 1 ang faucet pero palong ang drainage. So, napuno ang after 20 minutes, nahimong 30 liters na ang tubig. So, wala na equilibrium. What happens is, napuno ang wala na kaapas ang drainage sa kapaspas sa faucet. So, napuno ang bathtub. Okay. How about if atong balihon? Let's say ang faucet, ibalik na itong 1. And then ang drain, muna itong 2. Mas paspas na karon ang drain kaysa sa faucet. What would happen after 20 minutes? Sige, atong i-simulate. Okay, so after 20 minutes, wala.
Mahubas.
Sorry about that. Nag-negative siya. Dapat ay sa settings na to. Sorry. Diri sa to ang kuan. Bathtub. Atong i-click ni restrict this stock to positive values kay wala may negative value ang bathtub, di mo pwede ma-negative 10 liters, no? Negative siya sa simulation. So i-click nato ning restrict this stock to positive values para pag mag-simulate okay, taman. So what does it mean? 10 minutes pa lang hubas na and then remain siya 0. Pag-abot ng 10 minutes, nag-agas kaya po ng faucet, pero di gid siya masking kaabot 1 liter, kay magsigil po kahubas by tugan eh. So, nag-remain lang 0 ang tubig, walay sulod nga tubig, masking pagsigig agas after 10 minutes. Wala na gani kahulat og 20 minutes. 10 minutes pa lang nahubas na. So you see, unsaon nato ni pagtuan? In terms of analogy, so modeling and simulation, systems modeling and simulation refers to a method a tool wherein we try to find out what would happen in the future without necessarily waiting for it to happen and without necessarily observing the actual environment. Because in this case, wala na tanag try gyud og experiment mo ato ta sa atong mga balay kung asa man ta mangitag bathtub nga balay nga nay bathtub mo tag hotel or kuan kay murag pangdato ra man gyud sa ning bathtub. So di na necessary nga moadto ka mangitag bathtub niya. Be butangan nato 10 liters be and then pagaso nato ning faucet o kinani ka paspas o drain. You don't need to do that because you've done simulation, modeling and simulation in this particular context sa tuang kuan. Okay. Why I'm saying this? Because a bathtub, as I've said, can be a basic replication or a basic analogy to most environmental systems. So this picture is a picture of a lake. And a lake can be represented as a bathtub, di ba? And we have water, and we have flows. Probably, unsay representation in actuality sa faucet dire, unsay example sa faucet wherein water is introduced into the system or the reservoir or the stock. There could be a river, right? Kasi na river nga pasulod ani, so mura ni siya representation nato sa faucet nato. How about sa drainage?
Mga outlets, sir.
Okay, very good. So probably napoy river na po dayon pagawas, nagamay nga outlet. So inana, and there's an equilibrium there, di ba? Nga makita nato. But what if mukusog og ulan, so mubaha ang river, so ang outlet inana ra gyapon ang speed or kadakoon sa outlet, so on, so mo overflow. We can you can just imagine the possibility based on, pero that's a very basic. Let's say there are other flows. Unsa pay lain nga mga phenomenon that or factors that could add water into the system aside from the river nga pasulod sa iyaha?
Major heavy rains, sir.
Okay, very good. So rainfall, no? Kung muulan, puno po aside from the river, nang ulan pa gyud nadugangan siya. How about sa outlet? Aside from kung na river nga outlet niya, unsa po'y paagi nga mawan-an po siya og tubig?
Pwede evaporation, sir.
Okay, very good. So evaporation, di ba? The opposite of rainfall. So kung mainitan siya, mo evaporate, makuhaan og tubig. So clearly, murag ni complicate na gamay, murag na pagka-complex na gamay ang atong bathtub model, right? So sa bathtub, duha lang ang flow, inflow outflow lang kani, duha ka inflow, duha ka outflow, and so on. And if you kung tanawon pag yun, mas complex pag yun kay ang river na po'y factors niya, and so on. Or it could refer to some management system na to. Okay, if this is a dam, natay control sa outlet niya, pwede pahinayan, pero pwede pakusgan. So that becomes now part na importante ang modeling and simulation. And not only lakes, if you look at the picture, forest for example, in terms of, let's say, number of trees, the inflow could be in terms of unsa kapaspas ka mo tanom, unsa ka siya kapaspas mo tubo. The outflow could be in terms of how fast you harvest the trees, so on. Or the clouds in the atmosphere, for example, water vapor in the atmosphere. So mura po siya bathtub kay na water vapor. So evaporation na po niya ang inflow, ang outflow is rainfall. So inana ang concept, and this is how systems modeling and simulation comes in. So we just try to simplify, and you have to have that skill of trying to identify systems models in the environment, because it's how we actually solve problems. We understand environment as a system which is made up of stocks, which is made up of flows, and made up of variables or converters or interrelationships